Plugging the computer, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't fit here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright everyone, one day in Teletubby Land, it was Joshua's turn to present. So, good evening class. My name is Joshua and I'll be your professor for the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. Two things I want to say before we get started. First of all, feel free to record this like Raymond here is doing. I don't mind if this ends up on the, the U-books or the FaceTubes or the Insta-chats or Snapgrams or MySpace or whatever you kids are using nowadays. So yeah, secondly, you're going to want to take notes like the professor said. I mean, I can't make you do anything, but for mine specifically, there are incentives, wink wink, to those of you who retain this information. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's get started.
Good evening. Mortals know me as Lord Cthulhu. Today, I will educate your primitive minds about one of my most loyal disciples.
No, Cthulhu, we will not. So sorry about that, everyone. That's from something else. Anyway, let's read a quote here. So there's a great man living in this country. He has solved the problem of how to preserve one's own self-esteem and to learn from it. And he responds to negligence by contempt. He is also not forced to accept neither praise nor blame for his actions. So Arnold Schoenberg of the UCLA, of this man right here on the left, Charles Edward Ives. Sorry, I thought they were both the same with the squinting and all. Anyway, so yeah, he was born in 1874 in Danbury, Connecticut. He's a first-generation modernist composer. Y'all know what that means. So he's also, to the best of my knowledge, the first major composer to be American-born. The first major American-born composer to achieve international success, to the best of my knowledge, because most of them were European at this point, and the United States is very new. But, it's not all fun games and Szechuan sauce for him. No, the vast majority of his works did not become well known until well after his death. You may notice this also parallels that of the story of a familiar author some of you may be familiar with, happens to be my favorite, H.P. Lovecraft. Yes, they were both born in New England around the same time, I think like a 6-year difference or something like that, and they were both pretty obscure during their time, but gained popularity well after their death. So, yeah, that's probably why Cthulhu is in here. He's like, oh, it's going to educate your primitive minds. Yeah, well, no, not quite, because if you were talking about H.P. Lovecraft, that'd be relevant. But yeah, as a mnemonic device, though, if you do want to memorize that, then go right ahead. Other examples of this phenomenon occurring are early Renaissance artists and painters, such as Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael, and Michelangelo, who, to the best of my knowledge, didn't even get their own TV show until 1989. Well, after they'd given up on the whole thing and taken to living not on the streets, but beneath them. Anyway, so this guy also innovatively implemented such experimental techniques as polytonality, polyrhythm, tone clusters, aleatory, and quarter tones. Now, I know you're thinking, whoa, cats, man, slow down there, Eager McBeaver. What's all this music jargon you're throwing at me here? I don't know what any of this stuff means. All right. Well, in case you haven't been paying attention in class, let me explain it real quick. So, basically, or not,
in the skill, you're ready.
What's happening?
The unique now, the evil seal of Washington germinates within you.
Wow. Anyway, so let's talk about Ives' early influences. So his father was the leader of a band in the army during the Civil War. and also taught music for a time. In fact, Charles's first musical experience was that of playing drums for his father's band as a wee lad. Charles also became a local church organist at the age of 14 years old. So let's talk about his time in high school. Get it? He wrote the song "America" for a local 4th of July celebration, sort of his debut, breakthrough, smash hit song. On a non-musical note, he also was, quite athletic. He played varsity football and even captained a baseball team during his time in the aforementioned schooling for a year. So it was also during his senior year of the aforementioned school that his father died, and his brother subsequently became a lawyer. And following a temporary bout of depression, Charles wrote his famous Symphony No. 1 as a senior thesis in college, not high school, sorry. That's a mix-up there. Yeah, Symphony No. 1 was his senior thesis in college. Let's talk about his college time, college and beyond. In fact, he became an active student at Yale University in 1894, where he was for 4 years until 1898. He also wrote a campaign song for William McKinley in 1896. After he left college, he became an insurance agent. Together with a friend, he formed his own insurance company, which is actually quite fascinating to study on your own time if you're curious about that. They became locally famous for some business hijinks, and a lot of people know him as a famous composer, but he was also a famous insurance agent for a time. He did some pretty wacky, innovative stuff, so I encourage you to check that out in your own time. So he also claimed to have suffered many heart attacks, or at least that's what he calls them, throughout his life. So that's what we'll go with. Ever since his service in World War I, which influenced his mood, and he also credited that to leading to his most creative period, which began in 1907, respectively. Of course, he also did get married and moved to New York with his new wife in 1908. It looks something like that picture. So he was, most people say he was best known for his orchestral music, but I beg to differ. He also dabbled in quite the abundance of string quartets, piano-based songs, and chamber music as well. So most would argue that his most well-known work, perhaps, is the Concord Sonata, who the professor already talked about. So he was also an avid user of musical quotation, which is basically sampling, but before it was called that. It's popular in the field of hip-hop today. You'd be listening to like a radio-friendly rap song with your parents or something, and they're like, oh, hey, I know this song from the intro, and oh, no, you don't, got you there. So yeah, basically, this guy was doing that before it was cool. His fun fact, his favorite person to sample from was Beethoven. So his 4th symphony was 6 years in the making, overly complex, and features an oversized orchestra, which at that time meant upwards of 100 individuals. Or vinegar eels, if that's what you prefer. Anyway, so he wrote his last original piece of music in 1926. I say original for a reason, because as his health and creative inspiration gradually deteriorated, he began relying more and more on remixes, covers. Obviously these terms didn't exist back then, but you know what I mean. He started just kind of one-plussing other people's ideas, as his creative drive kind of gradually decrescendoed. So it was also around this time that he won the Pulitzer Prize Award. It's a strange way of spelling it. But he refused it. Awards are for boys, and I'm all grown up, he said. Wow, what a guy. All right, so he was also somewhat politically involved. He proposed an amendment to the federal Constitution of the United States of America, which, if enacted, would allow citizens to submit ideas to Congress for them to consider. However, much like his late musical career, it failed miserably. His downward spiral also paralleled that of fellow composer Jean Sibelius. Coincidence? I'll let you decide. So, he did eventually die of a stroke in 1954 in his hometown of New York, though. And the then governor of Connecticut dubbed him the official composer of the state of Connecticut as their representative. Columbia Records also bought the rights to his work in 1974 respectively, and for legal purposes, these are bottles of juice and soda, and that thing is, well, whatever it is, I'm sure it's medical. Anyway, so Juilliard also paid tribute to him about 50 years later, I think 50 years to the day actually, by playing nothing but his music on their campus for 6 days straight. That's right, folks, a full 144 consecutive hours of nothing but Charles Odd's music. Frank Zappa and Phil Lesh, who, for those of you who don't know, is the bassist for the Grateful Dead, cited him as inspirations. So, yeah, may his legacy live on in all of our hearts, unlike this thing, which I never want to see again. And, yeah, basically... Oh, one more thing. I did...
Even death itself may die!
Cthulhu! Not you again! What's going on? Maybe I just got the next one. It's still Cthulhu, why... every picture, every blasted screen. Come on.
This is my PowerPoint presentation now.
No, it's
After all,
not.
you're speaking of one of my most loyal disciples.
No, come on, man. This isn't.
We had a deal, Joshua. Remember?
Not this.
We had a deal.
Had a deal. It's all.
It's too late.
We can work something else out. I promise.
Massage my tendrils, Joshua. Massage my tendrils.
No, come on, guys. Look, I have.
Silence! You shall massage my tendrils immediately. I said massage my tendrils, you dumb, stupid, weak, pathetic, white kilt, milk toast, 600-pound, pompous, negligent, iTunes gift cards, a holiday bonus giving piece of human.
Alright, that's
You have destroyed me. So I will be the ultimate beast. This is a mere tentacle compared to my mind.
Alright, who's ready to learn? Okay. So I have a good presentation here. This is where I actually will be the first one here in this class to giving away prizes. I was going to do cash, but I ran into some legal complications of that, so unfortunately you'll have to settle for sub-cash prizes. But real quick, let me just sign in here, because apparently the link there we go. Alright, so let's cut back to the sandwich, so to speak, here. And I never tried it on this format yet, hopefully it works. So yeah, go ahead, pull out your phones. Raymond, don't stop recording, but go ahead, pull out your phones and you know, enter whatever nickname you want. It doesn't have to be your real name. If it's inappropriate, I don't care. I'm not going to punish you, but you can take it up with the professor if you want. But yeah, just make it whatever you... Oh, I have to... Okay, class. So yeah, I think... Oh, we don't have the game pinned yet. Alright, there we go. Alright, so just enter that code. Go to kahoot.it on your phones. You know how this works. Enter that pin in there. And actually, let me explain the prizes while you're doing that. So first place gets first dibs at your choice of either the vinegar eel that was ultimately responsible for the defeat of the evil Cthulhu, can be yours as a souvenir. This official I'm awesome because Joshua said so badge that you can tape to your clothing. It's removable, it's machine washable. You can wear it and make sure everyone knows that Joshua thinks you're awesome. It's also autographed on the back. Or option 3, no it is. Option number 3, I will buy you something from the vending machine of your choice for $1.50. So, I don't mean it'll cost you $1.50, I mean it's a $1.50 thing for free. But so yeah, first place gets that. Second place gets their pick of either one of the two that the first place person didn't pick, and third place gets the third one. Fourth place gets your choice of a handshake, hug, or high five. You can forfeit that if you want. The fifth one is just a simple shout out in the description of this video. It's going on YouTube, by the way. And yeah, my respect. So we got everybody? 15, not quite. Let's get it at least to 20. Come on. This is part of your participation. It's part of your grade. This has to be fun. Come on. Let's get at least 20. Come on.
I don't think we have that many in class.
That's it.
And there's actually like 16 or 17
Really?
classes anyway.
All right. Well, I'm getting the nod from the professor. So let's get started here.
I'm missing a couple people, but keep going.
Hope you were paying attention to some of the information. You can pull out your notes if you want. But yeah, let's build up those scores. Let's do it. All right, what's Charles' middle name, everybody? I said he's in the first slide. He's in bright red font, right at the beginning.
No.
Good job, folks. Good job. All right, here's our leaderboard so far. All right. So which ward did Ives serve in? We're talking about Charles here. Which one was it? I mentioned it in here. because it's supposed to be quick thinking. I would give you 5 if there's an option for it. All right, so yeah, World War I is the correct answer. Yeah, if some of you chose Civil War, I did mention that because that's the war his father served in. So you know that's probably where you heard that one. All right, so which president did Ives write a campaign song for? During his time at Yale. Come on, folks. Process of elimination. Let's do it. William McKinley, good job. Not unanimous, but majority, good enough. Our leaderboard, oh, thanks, Cthulhu, whoever this is. I appreciate you. All right. So, which university did I attend? Oh, crap. I wish I didn't. Well, this one's short-term memory for you. It's only like 20 seconds, so yeah, everyone better have got up. Most people. Good enough. All right, Patty is staying in the lead. Good job. Ives was dubbed the official composer of which state? His home state. Come on, he hailed from. It's in New England. It's not the Lovecraftian state. It's next to it though. Connecticut. Ooh, we got a mixed bag on that one. All right, so which record company bought the rights to Ives' music in 1974, respectively? All right, getting funky with the music now. Let's go. That's how you know it's serious. Columbia is correct. I'm surprised all of you are getting these. I thought you'd be distracted by Cthulhu and such. So, oh, okay. All right. So, what did Ives die of? What was his final cause of death? Stroke of genius. That's a good mnemonic. All right. Still same year. All right. And what year did Ives write the last piece of original music? I also wrote this. Holy Victory. Oh, come on. Let's do it. Don't disappoint the vinegar home speech. All right. Yeah. 1926. You got it. Majority's been right so far. Which of Ives' symphonies is known for being overly complex? I mentioned this one. Get up and dance, but don't you think better? Come on. Let's do it. I'm giving you a beat and everything. All right, 4th is correct. Well, not quite unanimous on that one, but no worries, no worries. Professor mentioned his 3rd. That's probably where you got that one from. So which year of high school was Ives in when his father died? Yeah, I thought these were hard questions. I should have made it harder. But I could have. I thought you'd struggle with this one. I underestimated this class. Senior. All right. Oh, that's it. Okay. Come on up and claim your prizes. Keep your recording, Raymond. So, Patty, identify yourself real quick. All right. So, which of the 3 would you like? Would you like the winning vinegar eel that single-bodily defeated Cthulhu? Do you want the official I'm Awesome badge with my autograph on it so everyone knows that I thought you were awesome before I was famous and everyone asked me to tell them that? Or you want something from the vending machine which can be redeemed now or next week? Or do you want to forfeit?
What?
Got 10 seconds.
I'll take the I'm awesome thing.
All right. On skill list. All right. 2nd place. Let me see you. Where are you? All right. Which one do you want? Do you want the
snake?
Do you want this one? Do you want the eel or the snack?
I'll get the snack.
All right. Well, we'll make arrangements for that after class. All right. 3rd place, Cthulhu, not the real Cthulhu. All right. So you get the eel. All right, man. Make it last. Hang this on your trophy shelf. Put it in your closet. Hang it up on the refrigerator. All right, that's a trophy. It's a high souvenir. Sell it on eBay for $500, not a penny less. 4th place. Will it let me see who that is? Yeah, Shauna, where are you at? All right. Yes, you get your choice of a handshake, hug, or high five. We'll do that after class. Ray. shout out to Ray, everybody. Okay, so I'll stick around after class for autographs, photo opportunities, interviews, Q&As, discussion about my YouTube channel, whatever you want. But But yeah, keep it single file line though, because I know it can get pretty wild sometimes. But I don't have any bodyguards or security guards here, so go easy on me. All right. You can compliment me on my musical taste too if you want. I don't have a problem with that. All right. Well, thanks.